Hello, Barendipitous here with another video for the board game shelf. Here, showing another game that's relatively new to the to my board game shelf, Call to Adventure. This is one of several games that my wife and I got from some Black Friday sales this past November. And we got this game because my brother-in-law had the game, and my brother-in-law also has all the various like expansions. Like there's a um, there's a few other expansions that are based on like Patrick Rothfuss and Brandon Sanderson, their books and stuff. But essentially, what this is a board game in which you control a character in a fantasy world, and you are trying to you get victory points by completing quests and sort of like trying to fulfill your character's destiny, essentially. Um, so there are three kinds of cards. Well, there's several kinds of cards. There's three stages basically. So there's there's stage one, stage two, and stage three. Um, and then, well, actually, here's what your character board looks like. You basically you put your background, your motive, and your destiny in these spaces. So background cards would be things like this, or I guess like wait no, these are trait. Oops, sorry. Um, put a few of the trait cards. Here we go. All right. Yeah, so like some background cards, noble, acolyte, conscript, student, and things like that, right? Your character would have one of these, and each of these gives you like a little ability that helps you with, might help you with various challenges and things like that. Take note of these symbols, by the way. There are 6 symbols, one for each of the, main stats you might find in D&D. You have, I believe, let's see, trying to remember exactly what these all mean. I think we've got strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. And then I'll explain the sort of like the rune stones in a little bit. But yeah, so you get one of these, and then so you get your character will have a background. Your character will also have a motive, which will see these, yeah. Motive, tempered by darkness, natural leader, bound by honor, vow of vengeance. Just sort of like further, kind of develops what your character's all about, and there's an ability and stuff that kind of goes with that. I remember in particular, and I played this game probably like 5 or 6 times. I remember recently I got Pure of Heart, which means that at the end of the game you lose a victory point for every dark point you have on your what do they call it exactly? On your story. Like this board will have your story on it essentially. So you have a background, you have a motive, and you have a destiny. And so, High Arcanist, Blood of the Dragon, Force of Darkness, Hand of Fate, and so on and so forth. So these destinies will be hidden to the other players, except, obviously you will know your own destiny that you're trying to reach, and you get victory points based on, certain things that you get, right? So you put your background, your motive, and your destiny here. Your background and motive are shown to all the other players, and your destiny is face down so no one else can see it. There's a track for like purity and corruption essentially, and there's different cards. There are hero and anti-hero cards. Hero cards are these white triangles, and they give you like you can play these play these at any time or depending on the effect that may enhance yours or someone else's sort of like challenge or checks. Then we have anti-hero cards, which are sort of like either sabotage somebody else or like there's some kind of sacrifice of some kind. There's a 1-player version, which that's what these skull cards are for here. Experience points are signified by these red diamond things here, these little plastic pieces, and you use this to track how much corruption you have. You start here. If you get more light points, then you get to a point where you get more victory points, but you can only play hero cards. But if you get more and more corrupted, then at some point you can play hero or anti-hero cards, but if you get more corrupted, then you can only play anti-hero cards. And if you get corrupted even more, you get negative points instead of positive points for darkness. So you can get points, either light points or dark points, and you can depending on your destiny, they can all total up essentially. here. So being a evil character or like being a corrupted character is not necessarily bad for like your points. But if for example you have a pure in heart motivation, then you would lose points for kind of turning to the dark side kind of a thing. So it's your choice. Depending on what your background, motive, and destiny are, you might want to go more towards the light or more towards darkness or a bit of both. Could be either one, right? So yeah, let's say you have like so pickpocket here as your so basically all the players will start on stage 1. So they'll only be playing with these cards, and there are various allies, traits, and challenges. Okay, an ally basically means that if you win a challenge and you get that ally, and usually that means you can like it gives you an ability, or you can sacrifice the ally for something or whatever. Traits are just something that you just get. You can just sort of like say, hey, I want that, and you take it and you get that ability. And also sometimes you can only gain it if it's something it meets certain requirements. Most of these, like again with Brave and things like that, most of these cards though are challenges. And so in order to win the challenge, you need to either roll one of these two traits. Also, you have to choose one of these two paths. So, for example, we have here Dangerous Artifact. You can choose to either resist temptation, or you can harness dark power, right? So, so you're going to be rolling based on one of these two traits, and I'll explain rolling in a moment. But you need 4 successes at least. So whichever one, so you choose first, then you roll, and then if you're successful, then you get this, and you put it beneath a card. If you fail, then it kind of gets taken out of the game. You have to replace it. There are going to be like 4 options in each stage. But if you succeed, and say for example I chose Resist Temptation, I would put it down here below the card like that. Or if I chose Harness Dark Power, I would put it like this, where the top part is showing. And the reason why that's important is, sometimes you might get a hero or anti-hero card, but also these symbols here, these symbols that represent various traits or other things, that tells you how many dice or like rune stones you can roll, essentially. So right now, if I just have Pickpocket, then for any dexterity or constitution challenge, I can roll, I can I can roll 1 constitution stone, essentially. So in here, like I can actually here. Let me explain how this. Let me explain how rolling works actually. So there are several different kinds of rune stones, if you will. Oh wow, I've got stuff all over the place. Oops. All right. So yeah, there's several different kind of rune stones. So there's these. Where are the okay? There are these basic ones. You always roll these no matter what. A line like this is a success, a blank is a failure, and then if you get a triangle, that means you can draw either a hero or anti-hero card. Sometimes it only shows a black triangle, sometimes it's only a white triangle, and some other things. But these are the 3 basic runes you always roll for every single challenge. For that Constitution one, if I had 1 Constitution symbol on my story, I could roll one of these. And this has this, and this basically, so this side is 2 successes, and this side is only 1 success. So I would need to either roll this or like something like this. Basically, if I had more Constitution symbols, then if I had another one, then I could roll another Constitution one. And then if I had 3, then I get to roll this one, which is a bit better because basically this is still only 2 successes. But the diamond, I believe that means, oh gosh, you get an experience token. So it's slightly better, right? But you want to build up your various traits on your story to be able to roll more rune stones, because you can really only roll. You can choose 1 trait, and you can roll up to 3 of that trait if you have enough, basically. And that's the same thing for all these other traits. There is also an option if you want to roll these any of these dark runes, right? So these dark runes. Each of these is a guaranteed success, but if you roll a moon, so success on one side, on the other side you get a success, but you also get a point of corruption if you roll a moon as well. So which you may or may not want. Also, I believe you spend experience points to be able to roll dark runes if you wish. So yeah, basically you keep playing, play through the various acts, Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, and then after one person, and you can. You're able to progress from Act 1 to Act 2 after you have 3 cards underneath your background. So Once you have 3 cards, you can go to Act 2, and once you have 3 cards underneath your motive, you can go to Act 3, and once somebody has 3 cards under their destiny, then everyone has one more turn to try to finish off their story, and then everyone tallies up all the victory points. And that's pretty much it. And it's really cool. Like there's some, you can, the first 5 games I played, I basically took notes on what happened with my character, like what choices I made and what cards I played and how other players sabotaged me and stuff. And honestly, like playing one game of this could give you an idea for a novel or like a D&D or a tabletop RPG character or something. You're basically creating stories, and this is a really cool sort of like story engine as well. It's a fun game in its own right, but it's also a really cool like story engine, I think. I really like Call to Adventure for that. Like I said, there are other versions of Call to Adventure. There's like a standalone version that is like high fantasy. There's one that's there's a Name in the Wind version based on Patrick Rothfuss's books, and then there's also I believe a Stormlight Archive version based on Brandon Sanderson's books. So really cool. Anyway, that's it for Call to Adventure. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and until next time, all the best.